Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, Donald Trump, over the weekend, he had a fundraiser dinner at Mar-A-Lago and he had a lot of people that were appearing at the dinner who are alleged to be on his vice presidential / running mate shortlist. And Donald Trump, he's been teasing it for a while. It's very possible that he is kind of, I guess testing the waters still, but I think deep down he does at least have a clear favorite or two of who it's going to be. I don't think he's going to make his official announcement until, maybe June. I think that's when he announced Mike Pence to be his running mate. It was, June, maybe early July, at the latest I could see him going out there and announcing his running mate, but he's kind of just testing the waters still, but I think he does have a favorite or two. He's narrowing down the selection, and possibly he does know, and he's just trolling the public. I mean, Donald Trump loves to troll, and that's okay because it's very entertaining, and that's kind of what endears him to a lot of people in this country is his ability to troll, control the news cycle. He makes people take the bait all the time, and even his own base he will troll from time to time, and it's not necessarily in a malicious way. But, he'll tease certain things from time to time, like his VP pick. This post right here, in many cases, is likely some sort of a troll. He likely has a favorite or two that he thinks is going to be the VP, and he was caught on tape, not in like a malicious way, but talking about some of the people who are going to be on his short list. We're going to be going over that as well. And we'll look at the updating betting odds out of Polymarket to kind of see what the betting market shows for his VP pick, which is completely, again, useless. Betting odds are, I would say, they're interesting to gauge how people really think that things are going to go, but a lot of people betting on politics just don't have a lot of knowledge. We see this. Trump was up, and then Biden took the lead a couple weeks ago in the betting odds, and so many people were like, it's so over, and then Trump is retaking the lead in the betting odds. It's very much on impulse, but still. He posted this picture with a lot of people on his VP shortlist. Not everybody on his VP shortlist or that's rumored to be on his shortlist is on stage, but still you have a lot of people that were standing behind him. Some people, like the guy behind the guy on the left, you really can't see him in this picture, which again is another thing because Donald Trump could be trolling in that regard. So it's possibly posted this to test the waters among the core base of replies to see who they exactly want to be VP, even though I think that Trump isn't necessarily just going to go off of what his own base wants, because that's not really how the VP is going to be selected, in my opinion. Donald Trump is going to want somebody who, A, helps him get elected, and B, is not going to be a total backstabber when he is in the White House. So I think that those are the two main things he's weighing. It's not going to be a I'm picking my successor type of thing. It's not going to be, I'm going to double down or pick somebody who's aligned with Trump 100% of the time, because that's not usually how VPs are selected. He's going to want somebody who's going to help him win. He chose Mike Pence in 2016 because he needed help with evangelicals and people who really were questioning how Donald Trump, who at the time was a celebrity, would govern. So he wanted somebody with experience, somebody from the political establishment. And Pence definitely at the time answered to those needs, and you could argue at the time he helped him. Now, it doesn't mean that when he got into office that he was all that helpful, even though the VP pick, for most of the, pipe that they get, it's kind of an overrated post. But still, I will say that Trump at this point, what group or what exactly is he trying to do? Because I don't think he needs help with evangelicals at this point. If anything, he's trying to throw water on the fire of the whole abortion issue in the post-Roe era. But still, what candidate is he going to pick? I think he wants somebody that would help his electability or his viability in the election. I personally don't know what is going through his mind when he's doing it, but it's possible that he's just testing the waters regardless to see what people think, because maybe the base does like somebody who Trump views to help his electoral odds, and that would definitely be something that would bolster Donald Trump's decision-making in selecting that person, because you got to weigh, both of those things. You don't want somebody who, may be popular among independents, but the base just absolutely detests. But B, the pic is on the stage but not visible in the picture. So it's very possible that he could be posting this knowing that his pic is on the stage, but he's doing a little bit of trolling because there's a couple people who are technically in the picture, but they were behind other people. They're not being shown, and maybe Trump is just posting this like, yeah, I know who it's going to be. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like a smoke screen because they're not really there, but they are on the stage. So there's that. And on top of it, he could just be trolling people because the pic that he wants is not on the stage at all. Or D, they're actually in the picture. So we don't know if Trump's made up his mind. I think that he's kind of narrowing down his short list. But when it comes down to it, he was asked about a lot of people from, I don't know if this was from the media, but audio that was obtained. We have some quotes that Donald Trump was, mentioning when he was talking about certain people. And in regards to Senator Marco Rubio, which would kind of be like an olive branch selection, but would probably be one of the better olive branch selections, because I'd rather have Rubio than Scott, Rubio than some of these other people that have been mentioned. And on top of that, I think he would actually help Trump and his electability quite a bit. He would probably destroy Kamala Harris in the debate. He's not a bad public speaker unless he's going up against Chris Christie, and he has improved a lot on the issues since 2016. He would not have been chosen back then, but you look at his grade on Numbers USA, it's gone up, and he's stood with Trump, and him and Trump have grown close over the past few years. Somebody like J.D. Vance, you could also talk about his, political awakening, one could say, because he was against Trump, and Trump kind of acknowledges this in this, list of quotes right here. But still, the base does have questions about Rubio, and in terms of his 2028 viability, if Rubio is chosen, it would probably be preferable that Trump cuts a deal that Rubio doesn't run in 2028, and I think that might be ideal if that's the path he goes down. But still, he mentions his name is coming up a lot for vice president. He didn't say yes or no. Obviously, if Rubio is the pick, I don't think he would make a hint that he is the pick. And if he's not the pick, he didn't really shoot it down. But you could interpret that whichever way you want. You could make the case for either. In terms of Tim Scott, he basically says that he's an unbelievable surrogate. But again, campaign surrogates, they're needed, but they're not necessarily, going to be the VP. VPs are not just surrogates. Surrogates are people who campaign on behalf of the other person. If Tim Scott wants to go to Georgia, which is a state that's close to South Carolina, or North Carolina, and hold events in favor of Donald Trump or get out the vote rallies, yeah, if Trump thinks he's a surrogate, that's what he would be doing. It wouldn't necessarily mean that he would be chosen to be VP, but he doesn't close the door on him. Then Vance acknowledges that he wasn't a supporter of him at the beginning, but he's become one of the great senators, and it's true, he's arguably the best senator in the Senate, but he was against Trump in the beginning. I'm not going to hold it against him. Obviously, I believe that he's genuinely changed, but still, if Trump does pick Vance, first of all, Vance, if you accept him in current form, you could say is like to the right of Trump in a lot of things, and is that a double down you want to do? I mean, his resume is impressive. I don't think it would necessarily lower Trump's chances a ridiculous amount, but the guy's barely been in the Senate, and still, the media is going to drive the wedge. They're going to pull up all the quotes that Vance had against Trump that were pretty brutal at the time, which I'm not going to hold against him, but they're going to drive the wedge, and it's not exactly something that I think Trump is really going to want to deal with. He talked about Senator Mike Lee. I don't believe Mike Lee is going to be chosen to be VP. He is a great senator, though. He's been really great lately, especially in regards to foreign policy. Marsha Blackburn, he mentions how she's a great campaigner. I don't know if she's really on the short list. I've heard her name a little bit here and there, but she's kind of more of like an under-the-radar type of individual. I don't think she's really going to be selected. I think she's probably just going to run for re-election, and maybe she'll be a campaign surrogate for Donald Trump. Speak at the RNC like she did last time, things like that. But still, Doug Burgum, who's kind of in consideration. He says, I didn't know, but he was a supporter of my two campaigns. He's a very rich man. This guy's also kind of rising in the ranks of the VP shortlist, and he does have a lot of donor connections. But still, in terms of his viability as VP, there are some shady ties. People like to call out the shady ties or past of other people on the shortlist. But Burgum, even though he's kind of came off as mild-mannered on the debate stage, it's kind of, A, some people might say it's kind of boring, and B, he kind of has all these ties to big tech, Bill Gates, you name it. I can't exactly say that sits well with me. for being Trump's VP. Again, like I said, VP is overrated. Wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't think he would hurt Trump, but I think Trump could do a lot better as VP. Then he pays lip service to Kristi Noem, doesn't really mention anything about her other than the fact that she's been a supporter of his, and it's probably a good thing. I don't think she's on the short list anyways. Trump would basically be signing his electoral death warrant because Noem has just made it a point to implode as fast as possible, talking about how the fact that she hated her puppy and that she killed it, if you want to try to spin it as, oh, she was just putting it down, whatever, it doesn't matter. You see the optics, you know how it's going to be spun. You can't really go down that road. She's got a lot of baggage. Besides that, she's just all around trying to implode, lying about meeting with Kim Jong-un. She's just a meme. You know, she's become a caricature of herself. And she is somebody who is not really all that great on the issues and has been very subversive and tried to primary out a lot of these, you know, based state representatives in the state of South Dakota just because of the fact that they were trying to oppose her from the right on some things that she was caving on. So she's very spiteful. And I think that if there's anybody that's like subversive, we talk about those 2 points on the list, it would be Kristi Noem. Then we have Elise Stefanik, who Trump called a very smart person. She was in upstate New York when I met her. Again, she is somebody who, you know, has had this past but has been better lately, kind of like Rubio in many ways. And I think that she would not exactly be somebody who would get in Trump's way of Trump's agenda just because they're close personally and Trump values that, but she's kind of fallen out of the top of the short list. Maybe she'll be in the White House somewhere or in some cabinet position somehow, but I don't really think she's going to be VP. Then you have Byron Donalds, also from Florida, but keep in mind, either Donalds, Rubio, anybody from Florida could change their residency. It would not be very difficult to do so. Then they could run with Trump. And Trump says that Donalds created something very special politically, and then, I don't know, he goes on to say that donors really want a piece of him. So I don't know if donors want Donalds to be on the ticket. I don't know what they exactly believe that he would add. I think he would add a decent amount. I think he's very skilled politically. He's a very good speaker, and I think he would decimate Kamala Harris. He defends Trump well, is liked by both wings of the Republican Party. I don't think he would be a bad selection by any means, but I don't know why the donors really see him in a positive light. And then he talked about Wesley Hunt, who's another black representative, even though Hunt's only been there for 2 years, but he does have an impressive resume beyond that point, and Trump said that he's a friend of his. But I don't really think that Wesley Hunt's going to be chosen. So when you look at it, you have Trump. You know, he's not really giving very many hints, but we'll see what happens. We definitely know who's on his short list, and Tim Scott is the betting favorite. I don't think it's going to be Tim Scott. I really don't. You know, Trump praising him as a surrogate kind of tells me that he doesn't see him as somebody who would be like the running mate. He's very, I guess you would say, ambiguous about Rubio. But that could mean one or two things. And a lot of these other people, like Ben Carson, I like Ben Carson a lot. I think that he would probably perform well in the role, but do I think he adds enough to the ticket? He's also old. I've heard from high up people that Carson probably is somebody who, you know, they don't want on the ticket because they want somebody a little younger, which would hint towards one of these individuals here. It's not going to be Haley. It's not going to be DeSantis. It's definitely not going to be Kristi Noem. Probably not Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She just became governor. But we'll see. Honestly, I really have a feeling that it's probably one of these two, Vance and Rubio. That's what I've heard from high-up people. But again, they get it wrong a lot too. It could be somebody that's not listed. It could be somebody coming out of left field. Keep in mind, Doug Burgum also is not really high up on this short list. I'd say he'd be in the mix as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But Donald Trump, he is definitely weighing his VP picks. And I think he has a favorite or two right now. We'll have to see who he eventually chooses when it's all said and done. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.